Hi guys, Knife Edge UK here. We're in crazy custom land today. I thought we'd do a little video on a knife which hasn't been made for quite a long time in this guise, and they're very hard to get hold of in general, but I thought I'd just sort of showcase this knife. I absolutely love it. I think it's fantastic. This is a Philippe Jourget fif. This is the fif20 model. You might be familiar with the fif from the Custom Knife Factory version. They did the fif20 and the fif23, which are the two larger versions than this in the Custom Knife Factory stuff. But this is one of the smaller ones. So that leads us nicely, I think, into some size comparisons. So there's your fif18, as I say. Here's a large Sebenza. We'll put a quiet carry drift under that. You can see the drift's even smaller. We will put, for the sake of you custom folks out there, a Jason Guthrie Scout. You can see it's actually a very, very similar size to the Jason Guthrie Scout. The Scout has a touch more handle, blades about the same in terms of overall length on that Warncliffe. And what else should we put in there? We'll put in an XM18 3.5 non-flipper as well. So that gives you a fairly clear idea. Blade's a little over 3 inches. Only a hair, it's about 3.1 inches if memory serves me. So, Philippe Jourget, fantastic French knife maker, name to conjure with. People love his knives. They are hard to get. He doesn't seem to make very many knives at all, and he hasn't made anything like this for a very long time. This is a, like I say, a fif18 from 2014, so this has been around a good long while. And it seems to break down that he's made more fif20s, somewhat less 23s, and then even less 18s. So this is quite a rare knife, and this, I think, it is one of the very, very first that he ever made of this design, and it speaks to his quality that this is still an exceptional piece of work. This is really fantastic. So this is a liner lock version. A lot of them that you see will have will be frame locks. You do occasionally see the liner locks, but not very often. The blade, I actually don't know what the blade is, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it's almost certainly CPM 154. Very common for high-end, French makers and custom makers generally. Now a lot of them have moved over to RWL 34, but compositionally it's basically the same steel. The covers are lightning strike carbon fibre, and the liners are this very nicely blasted titanium, and then it has this very curious bent over pocket clip. He only did a few of these, as far as I know. He quickly transitioned over to a milled clip. This works really, really well. It's a really nice clip, actually, but you don't see many of them, and it does involve kind of this curious loop over. But to be honest, it works really nicely, and this is a piece of this is a piece of his history, and it also incidentally has his older maker's mark. Let's see if I can get that to focus, which I think is beautiful. So let's talk about the knife. So like I say, this is almost certainly the steel aforementioned. It has this gorgeous, very plain and simple classic drop point blade that's just really nicely proportioned, full flat grind, really nicely done hand rub satin. This, considering this is from 2014, is in really, really good condition. Most of his knives now are on bearings. This is on bronze washers, which, from my point of view, is really nice. Not because I don't like bearings, I do, but because I love variety, and I also like really knives that have really sort of tight tolerances around the pivot. Silly little thing, but I do really like washer knives as well as bearing knives, and I have a lot of bearing knives, and so I really like the fact that this is a washer one. It is really, really smooth, like Sebenza, kind of that luxurious hydraulic smoothness in the close. It's lovely. Action, it's got quite a nice stiff detent, which obviously when you're trying to move a relatively small blade like this out as a front flipper, having a relatively stiff detent is no bad thing at all, and it works really, really well. It's just really nicely done. Edges ground lovely and thin, very, very even. Lockup's really good, nice lovely sensation through there. This is a fixed pivot on the back, which works nicely, and very simple. Torx tooled on the front. The lightning strike carbon fibre is some of the best handled lightning strike carbon fibre I've come across. as anyone will know who's handled lightning strike carbon fibre, and there are great makers that work with it who still have these problems. It's effectively carbon fibre just woven with, in this case, I think it might be copper strands. It's copper or brass, but it looks more coppery to me. They're very, very fine in this one. And it's very, very easy to have these be snaggy. However nicely you finish the surface, they can end up catching, and you can have the knife and think, oh, this is great, this is really smooth, and then you'll be carrying it for a while and something will shift a little bit and you'll end up with a little snag. This one is super smooth. Now, it might just be that because this was made in 2014, it's had a while for any of the potential snags to be snaggy and to be fixed, but it feels fantastic. It's low void, which is nice a lot of the time. Lightning strike carbon fibre can end up feeling quite voidy, particularly from back when this was built, but it's really, really well done. You can see how beautifully radiused and matching the scales are. It's an excellently made knife. Ergonomically, this is one of the nicest knives of this size I've ever put in my hand. For me, my first two fingers fall into that lovely groove. Actually, let's just have a quick look at how beautifully milled that access point is. I love that. My first two fingers fall in that groove, and the next fall onto this flat at the back, and it hooks into the hand really nicely. It pulls into your hand, and it just feels really, really comfortable. Overhand pinch is excellent as well. You know, for silly little tasks like opening letters or whatever else, this is a great little knife. It's not that small, but it's not big. And I say it's really, really nicely done. Action's fantastic. Detent sinks in really, really well. I'll show you the detent. Yeah, it's lovely. Did I actually show you then, or was I off camera? I'll do it again. There you go. Lovely and clicky. Absolutely no detent play. It's just a great knife. It's really, really good, and I feel incredibly lucky to have this one in the collection because there are not many of these. It's hard enough to get anything by Jourget, really, but this is getting up there for being as rare as they get. I mean, you see more of the petite and the hi-fi model around, and then obviously fif20s, and then his new, or his relatively new, friction fold of the Carbo, which is very nice as well. This is just a really, really nice knife to have, and I'm very, very lucky to have it. So there you go, guys. That is the Philippe Jourget fif18 from 2014. Thanks very much. Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.